So
Yeah.
um,
Mm.
sometimes you gotta acknowledge that people are gonna have to they're gonna have to fall down a number of times before they're ready. And it doesn't mean that you don't need a community. You do, and you can't do any of it alone. But the
Yes.
person who is asking for help needs to be the one making the decision. And so it took a long time for me to understand kind of my cycle and my process, and some of the ways that my own mental health lives out in unhealthy ways. And so
Okay.
I'm much more able now to acknowledge, when I got to, because I'm a passionate person, right? You know this, Steve, right? And
Yeah,
when I
man. Yeah, man.
and when I get moving on something, right? Like, and you're like this too, right? Sometimes like I need, like, man, I need someone to like collar me. It's bad, right? Like it's
Yeah.
and and it's almost always now in my life, and I think this is about channeling, about righteous indignation, right? We've talked about this.
Yeah.
The only
Yeah.
anger without sin, right? Like, but for
Mm.
me, I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Right. So if we're going to achieve things and not just blow things up, and sometimes you
Yeah.
have to blow things up, but like
Yeah.
if we're going to achieve things, right, you got to approach it a little differently. And coming to know your patterns and your cycles, and when it's worth crashing into the wall and when it's not, right? Or
Okay.
how many off ramps can I pass by before there ain't going to be anymore, right? Because sometimes to
Yeah.
achieve something, you got to take some risks and you got to go a little longer, right? Like,
Yes.
but
So
yes,
in this drive, let's say we're going on the 401, and there's multiple off ramps that people, like you saying before, flagging you down, giving you signs and so forth.